Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We got the girl and boy in blue up in front of you. Welcome to RBN. We are here for you. Come on, let's go.
My hair is a mess today. I can't get it.
Oh my good. I can't with myself. It's so good to be here with all of you this evening. Welcome to the RBN Roundtable. We are live here for you, and just to let you guys know, we always stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays for the RBN Roundtable. Please make sure to click that like button if you like the stream, and if you are new, please make sure to smush down that subscribe button just to let you know that the algorithm doesn't like us. So make sure to also click that bell so that you can be notified whenever we go live. I have with me my wonderful and brilliant co-host, Sabrina. Somebody.
Hey guys. Hey JB.
I had to introduce you right. I had to do it right. It's like, don't do it. If you can't do it right, don't do it at all. So I was like, let me do it right. How's it going, Sabs?
Good. Water. We do have a story about water. We're not just being silly. There's a reference there.
Yeah, there is, but it's also really good to be silly, So this is kind of a deep story. But before I get to that, Reality Revolution, if you're watching, thank you so much for the chair. Thank you.
Yay!
Yep, that's right. I'm backing it up. I'm backing it up in the chair. Thank you so much for wow, it's like I'm very humbled. And thank you so much. My ass feels better. Thank you.
I need to get me one.
My ass thanks you. But yeah. Thank you so much for the gift, Reality. I appreciate it very much. And the chat. I'm looking at the chat. I'm just like, who are these people? There are people. Good to see you, CBC voter. Good to see you. Stalin is based. Well, yeah. And we lie. Sorry. Gosh, I can't read today. And we live. Good to see you. All right. Bryce, nice to have you. Eric Gray, good to see you as always. Lawrence Johnson, JB and Sabby. Actually, it's Sabby and JB. That it goes in that order. You got to make sure we go in that order. Terry Connolly's good to see you as well. All right. Let me see. Elijah. There's a small echo, but I don't know how to fix it. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Is there still an echo? I hope not.
I don't hear an echo.
I don't hear an echo either. If you guys still hear an echo, let me know, please. Sweary Fairy, good to see you. I need some of that energy from Rome. That's what I need because, whoo, man, got a lot of energy, and I am jealous. All right, Fly Thighs, so good to see you. It's just a round table. It's just a round table, baby. That's all it is right now. All right. Savvy Sab saying hello to Savvy Sab. So good to see. Hey, John, good to see you. Good to see you, sir. Nice to see you as well. Oh, by the way, I accidentally skipped over you a little, Elijah, but good to see you too as well. Thank you for the notice, by the way. Let me see. Steve Wolfbrandt. Hang on. I want to make sure I get to you. Man, you guys are really commenting here. Oh, there we go. There you go. Good to see you. Okay, and Where Pilgrim.
We got a newbie.
Greg, nice to see you. Don't know, first time, and I had to subscribe so I can chat. Nice to meet you, Greg. Welcome to the RBN Roundtable. Please make sure to just sit back, put your feet up, and if you got some cookies and some milk, Go ahead. Eat some of that while we're talking. Go ahead. We're here. We're here for you.
Where's some tea?
Oh, you know what? I forgot to get some tea. But it would have been really weird if I had got some tea and then we're both wearing blue shirts. Just saying. It would have been like a paradox. You know what I mean? Yona, so good to see you as well. Um, might be my, you know what? It might be connection, maybe. I'm not sure. I apologize about that. Some people aren't having an echo, as I can see here. Bovis, did I say it correctly? I don't know. I hope so. If not, please correct me. Terry, good to see you as well. All right. Yeah, we get another Greg in here, but it's all good. The more Gregs, the better, baby. We like Gregs up in here. All right. Ashura! Ah, good to see you, Ashura. All right. Mad Scientist Mike. Charles. I don't know what that means, but good to see you. All right. Dana Fairbanks. Maybe you've been on different shows on RBN. I'm not
I've
sure if
seen
I've
her
seen you.
before.
You have? Okay.
Yeah.
I probably haven't seen you on the JB show. Either that or I just wasn't paying attention. For that, I apologize, but good to see you here as well. Okay, so it's 9 after. We have to get started. Anybody else that I missed, I just welcome you to the show today. We are actually going to be talking about water. And this actually just came out. I want to give a shout out to It's Lulu7 on Twitter, and also to Kasim Rashad. I also want to give a shout out to him. Uh, those two were collectively basically sharing this information that we need to hear. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm also going to expand this just a little bit so that you guys can see it. This is about the Clean Water Act. So I want you guys to hear this, and this is very serious. So hold on to your hats.
On a shadow docket, the Supreme Court has just passed one of the most devastating decisions in the modern history of the United States. The Clean Water Act of 1972 provides federal standards to prevent water pollution by chemical, physical, and biological agents known to cause cancer, disease, and nerve damage. It's been the cornerstone of our policy on protecting water for 50 years, and the Supreme Court just repealed it 5-4. Worse, they didn't even publish an opinion. They did it on a shadow docket, meaning we have no idea what their reasoning was. All we know is that now corporations will be allowed to dump cancer-causing, nerve-damaging agents into our water without any accountability. And guess who's going to suffer the brunt of that harm? That's right, people of color and low-income communities. Numerous studies on drinking water report that communities of color are more likely to suffer drinking water violations, and this has been going on for years. Atrocities like the Flint water crisis weren't accidental. They were deliberate dehumanization of communities of color. People will die as a result of this horrifying decision. We must expand the court and do it immediately.
Okay, so that's one part. Now, I want to make sure that there's clarity in what we're talking about. Okay. Now, a shout out to one of the commenters as well. Damon Philman. He said, while I agree the Supreme Court's decision is disgusting, it does not actually repeal the Clean Water Act, but rather stores a Trump rule within the act restricting the role of states and tribes in terms of enforcing it. Now, to actually back up what he says, let's go to the article that actually shows this. And right after that, then I will introduce Rome as well as get your thoughts on this, Sabby. Okay, so if you look here, Supreme Court halts a ruling against Trump Clean Water Act rollback in 5-4 decision. It says Supreme Court on Wednesday halted a prior court ruling that struck down a Trump-era rule limiting state and tribal authority to veto projects that could impair their waters, including pipelines. The Trump rule in question, which was nixed by a federal court in October, limited states' authority to block projects by giving them the strict 1-year time limit to do so. If it did not meet this time limit, the government could determine that it had waived its veto power. This can stay out of my way. The rule also limited the scope to only those that will impact water quality. This excluded other considerations such as air quality or energy policy. And so the dissenting vote was, let's see, the High Court on Wednesday halted the vacator, reinstating the rule for the time being in a 5-4 decision. Chief Justice John Roberts joined the court's 3 liberal justices in dissenting. So basically, what this is bringing out is that states and tribes do not have the power to enforce the Clean Water Act as I guess they had before, and so this can be still a dangerous precedent that's set. Just wanted to give a welcome to Rome that has joined us for the stream. It's good to see you in here, looking all holy with the light behind you. And Sabby, I wanted to get your thoughts initially on this, and then we can get your thoughts on this as well, Rome, and the follow-up.
Oh, man. So when we talk about like drinking water, this is something I was telling people about a while back. Like, it's not just places like Flint that have dirty water. I lived in South Carolina, and there's towns there, particularly out in the boonies, once you get away from the cities, that also have dirty water. So it's a problem in other places as well. And I don't know if everyone understands like what this means. So like, for example, if you live in one of those towns, that means like you can't drink the tap water, which means you have to purchase bottled water. Yeah. And that's expensive for anybody. But if you're poor, you can't afford to buy bottled water all the time. Like, bottled water is expensive. And I'm fortunate, enough now. I live in a state where I can drink the tap water, but not everybody is that lucky. And I just want people to understand that, once again, this just goes to show you that our government really doesn't care about us. They don't care that communities are being poisoned. And this is usually targeting poor communities, communities of color. You would never see this as an issue in places like Beverly Hills. They target those poor communities. And so they basically just want poor people to die off.
Yeah. And then we got to remember, y'all, like, yes, we have a Supreme Court, we have a Senate, we have a House, but these people do not write these laws. Y'all have to remember that Nestle actually controls our water. They pay a little bit of nothing for tons of water, and what they actually sell is plastic. Because water is free. Clean water should be free. But even the CEO of Nestle said that he don't believe that water is a human right. So now we have to deal with corporations who have so much money and influence over our people who write the laws, or or enforce these laws. That's in the Supreme Court, that's in the House, that's in the Senate. They are getting money from these people. They are getting word from their boss's boss not to enact this. But this type of thing always happens. Every president will pass, some bad things and then pass some good things. That way his supporters can say, well, at least he's trying to do this. I haven't seen this person did that, and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's not going to pass while he's in power. And it's just a feel-good moment. It's just a feel-good story for that moment. It would never pass, because if we're talking about something like clean water, for towns and stuff like that, then holy fuck, so many people are going to go to prison. We're going to open up a can of worms that we cannot put the lid back on. So if you're talking about clean, affordable, drinking tap water and stuff like that, we need money in infrastructure. Corporations is not going to allow us to put real infrastructure in black and brown poor communities, because they want us to, move out of this motherfucker so they can have it to themselves. But this ain't nothing but a feel-good story. It was never going to make it in the first place, because if it was, then Nestle would have been at on their knees, You know what I'm saying? That shit should be on their knees if we was gonna really pass something like this, but they wasn't. They wasn't worried. They didn't put out. I didn't see any anti-clean water messages throughout social media. They didn't have to put money behind it because what the fuck? They don't need you guys drinking clean water. They need you guys dying off. You know what I'm saying? Sooner than later. They already got the generation up under us to do whatever they need, you know what I'm saying, to brainwash them. They don't need us telling the younger generation that the government ain't shit.
Mm-hmm.
We can die off. We did what they need. And they're gonna start off with the Zoomers.
Yeah. I just wanted to give attention to Bill Bradley. Thanks, Bill, for the comment. He says, it was a jurisdictional case. Can states block federally licensed energy products within the Clean Water Act? And Supreme Court said no, which seems ridiculous. But why they have an act at all then? It's kind of it's weird because it's just like if it's supposed to be a federal thing, then why are you giving the power to the states? You know, it's like water should have the same standard everywhere, you know, because the thing is that it goes through and it affects all of us all collectively. I also want to make sure I get to Steve's super chat. Thank you so much. 15,000 subscribers. Congratulations. Thank you so much. We are finally at 15,000 subscribers. So thank you for acknowledging that. Yeah. And Corey said, I meant to ask this question to you, Sabby. I understand that you want us to veer away from electoral politics, put more effort into mutual aid. How can we get healthcare and living wage from mutual aid? This is not directly related to this topic, but did you want to touch on that, Sabby, or you want to wait for later?
Right. I don't think we're going to get health care through electoral politics unless you put pressure on the politicians. And I think that's going to come from direct action.
You know,
I think we have to get out in the streets to like protest and really push back to get health care for everyone in this country. Because right now, Joe Biden is talking about expanding Obamacare, but he's not telling people, and I talked about this last night, he's not telling people that even through that expansion, that the individual premiums are going to skyrocket. So people are going to have to pay more, and he's leaving that part out. So he's still not giving healthcare to everybody. So that's the only way that we're going to get that is if we get out in the streets and we put pressure on the politicians. And I honestly think like in this year, 2022, the fact that we still don't have healthcare in this country for everyone, it's embarrassing when I talk to people that live in other countries where everyone has healthcare. It really is an embarrassment.
It is embarrassing.
And I want to answer that because we do get health care from mutual aid. We do. Your GoFundMes, your Cash App, all that, when you put up your links that your family members are sick and whatnot, yes, we do give each other care and whatnot through mutual aid. We can make a livable wage possible through mutual aid and through protesting together. Look what we have done with just the fast food workers. When Democrats turned down $15 an hour, they stopped working, and damn near every state passed $15 an hour without the bill even being signed by any politician. So as long as you are determined, as long as you are out there, you can get what the fuck you want. You can do what the fuck you want. We take care of each other through mutual aid. And if you guys want to focus on electoral politics, then go ahead. But don't try to throw, those little, well, if you don't want us to do this, and no. You do what the fuck you want. You know what I'm saying? We can tell you, you know what I'm saying, how we feel about the situation and what you should waste your time on or spend your time doing, so to say. But you don't have to listen to any of us. But if you gonna say shit like that, then I don't know. That just kind of threw me off because I see every day people sharing their links. Please retweet this for me. My family is dying. My son, my blah blah. I see people from America to Palestinians.
Yeah. And
we help them and we get them care with mutual aid. We get them housing and funding and all kind of shit through the mutual aid. That's what we do. And it's going to get us where we need to be as long as we are together and we moving as one. But yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Just and it may not be directly correlated, but it definitely. I'm sorry, not that I didn't mean to say it like that. It may not be a direct link, but it's indirect. When we're talking about our water safety, we are talking about healthcare, right? And
Mhm.
so when it comes to decisions like this, the whole let's just leave it up to the states notion is different states have different bodies, governing bodies, which also have different views on how their state water should be, uh, how it should be managed. I am of the opinion that it should be managed at the strictest level, and that strictest level should be covered federally, and every single state should abide by that. Because the thing is that to me, you cannot be too cautious when it comes to drinking water.
Mhm.
Because I do not want to have any carcinogens in my drinking water. Do you real like okay, Rome, you're a little young, so I'm gonna give you a pass on this one. That's right. Rome is younger than me. But remember when we were kids and we used to run outside, and then when we got thirsty, we went to that water hose and we drank straight from the water hose? What if children are still doing that? If they are still doing that to this day, then well, all right, that's busting. That's ill. That's fat. Yeah, I just aged myself. But if kids are still doing that, think about the danger that they may be in every single time they put their lips to a garden hose and they're drinking that water, and it may not be like, for instance, say for instance, you're in you may be in Arizona, but you're visiting from Michigan, and the Michigan water is really good, you know, from the part of Michigan you're from. But now you're in Arizona, your kids playing outside, they drink from that garden hose, and now they're drinking water that may have a carcinogen in it. Then now what?
Yep.
What if you're traveling and you don't have anything to drink, and there's a water fountain right there?
Yep. Then we got to think about the influence that these corporations actually have over cities and states, because they
Yeah.
bring in jobs and they bring in a lot of money. So they do have a hand in these laws. So if you leave it up to the state, if we leave it up to the states, black people would be slaves.
Well, got a point there.
We left it up to the states. Women's got their fucking rights stripped away. They got abortion rights stripped away. We left it up to the states. This is what happens. So you might agree that, yes, we have to keep government small and whatnot, but it has to be some type of oversight overall, because we on one land mass. No matter if I'm in Detroit or you in Florida or Arizona, wherever you be, we all need clean water. That should be bottom line.
Yeah.
Because as humans, we need water. We are born with, like, you know, we are
water. Yeah.
We need water to live as humans. That should be basic. You need a home to survive. The outsides, that should be basic. We shouldn't even be having this conversation. We should be talking about what can we do next from clean water and housing. But here we are now.
Yep. Yeah. Sabby, any other thoughts that you want to bring out?
I want people to think about, like, why are so many Americans getting sick today? A lot of times it has to come with the environment. Like Flint is a good example. What's in the environment? The food, the chemicals that they use for food nowadays. That's why a lot of people are going to organic produce and organic meats as well. It has to do with the environment. And this is something like Marianne Williamson had talked about this one time. She was like, we don't have, you know, a healthcare system. We have a death care system.
Yeah.
And a lot of it goes back to the food and the environment that you're living in. And the people that are affected the most are going to be communities of color. And this is something where when Bernie Sanders was talking about climate change, he was trying to make that connection on the debate stage, but he didn't get to it fast enough. And they were like, okay, you know, they cut him off. You know how that works. But the connection that he was trying to make is that climate change is going to affect who primarily? The people that live on the coast, East Coast, the West Coast. Where do most Black people live in the United States? We're usually on the coast. Even if you consider like Chicago, that's right there by the water. So those are the communities that are going to be affected the most by climate change, that are affected the most by environmental conditions, that are affected by poor water, poor food. And so this is the reason why more people are getting sick. But the healthcare industry doesn't really care because they're not really trying to cure you. They're just trying to give you treatment because that's how they make money. And I want everybody to really understand that the healthcare industry is not really trying to cure anything. We have had people doing cancer research for decades. And after all these decades, you mean to tell me they still can't find a cure for cancer? I fail to believe that. There's no money in the cure. The money
Yes.
is in treatment. So they have to keep people sick so they can continue to push out the treatment. That's how they make money.
Yeah. I actually want to give a shout out to Elijah for this comment. Elijah said, even if kids aren't drinking water from the hose, they are still absorbing it in their pores from playing in water, using the sinks to wash clothes and dishes. And I will add to that, what good is clean water if we use that same dirty ass water to plant our plants and then they're absorbing some of those carcinogens as well? Like,
Yep.
we gotta, this is crazy. Like, and why in the hell, hang on, why in the hell are we talking about having clean water in the richest country in the history of the world, and we're still debating this?
And Sabi, like, I like that you brung up, because I remember when I was working for Bernie back then, and everybody was on my head. Like, Bernie didn't say anything about black people, about climate change. I was like, yes, he did. He brung up, you know what I'm saying, about what was that? It wasn't about climate change. It was about something. Then he had went on to climate change, which was connected to that, which was connected to blacks, because 74% of people that was affected by Hurricane Katrina was black.
Yep.
And then think about the hurricanes and typhoons that come through Florida. It don't be like it. You barely see these rich neighborhoods get hit. You barely do. And then if they are hit, they have relief. They have people out there putting the power lines back up. It takes us weeks out here to get our stuff back up, to even get our drains unclogged. They don't even, they half-ass that. So it's going to be us affected by it. Detroit, California, Texas, Florida, New Orleans, they are trying to wipe black people out. And this is not a conspiracy. This ain't a conspiracy. We have multiple documents that's open right now with plans on getting rid of black people. And if you think that they stopped with any of their plans, they have you fooled. They have you fooled. Only thing that they did was upgraded for today's sake. They don't have to fight the Black Panthers anymore. They don't have to fight a Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. They have to fight people like us. They have to fight a Sabi Sabs or James or Conscious Lee or Nick. You know what I'm saying? They have to fight us now. And they updated. They just updated their plans. They never stopped trying to kill you motherfuckers. Even Bush mother was like, well, they've been living like that. Oh, well.
Yep. That's why, too, if you go into, well, not all black neighborhoods, but if you go into, I'll pick Baltimore, for example. If you go in the city, not Baltimore County, Baltimore City, and you go into the city, it's really hard to find I would say a safe part of the city now. And a lot of that has to deal with drugs that came in the 80s and the jobs that were shipped overseas and all of these factories that closed in Baltimore. That has part of it to do with it as well. But one of the things you'll notice if you go into a lot of the urban black communities, what do you see in the communities? Why are there pawn shops? Why are there payday loan places on every corner? Why are there liquor stores on every corner? Why? To keep you sick and to keep you in debt, to keep you poor so that you don't get out. You never see that in these suburban communities.
You don't even see the lottery. You don't even see advertising for the lottery.
No, you never see it. Because if you go to like a suburban community, you don't see pawn shops on every corner. You don't see like liquor stores on every corner. The key is to keep you sick, to keep you unhealthy, and to keep you poor, and to keep you in poverty. There's nothing there. I don't see any. You want people to get out of poverty, to get out of those neighborhoods. I don't see any juice bars in the ghetto.
I would love a juice bar.
Yeah, I don't see any spin cycle gym classes in the ghetto. Everything that they have is something that's going to make you sick or is going to keep you in debt.
Well, sadly, all you guys going to do is just burn it down anyway. Like, stop it. We know how this shit go because I used to work for Wells Fargo, and we fixed up houses just to tear them down. Sometimes we would go put a furnace and hot water tank inside in the middle of the hood, where there's crack houses, dope houses, and all kind of shit going on. We'd put furnace hot water tanks in the house, take a picture of everything we put in, and take that shit right back out. You don't think the same people who own these buildings are burning them down, or they have something to gain from putting something like that in a dangerous part of the town, and then it's so happenly to get broken into, and so happenly to get. I'm pretty sure people will love, you know what I'm saying, these new bars, these new jobs, these opportunities to come in their neighborhoods for a change. Yeah, and but all it is a flip. It's a flip.
Yeah, and when they do bring in the healthy stores and all of that kind of stuff, they bring in the Whole Foods, they push the Black people out. The people who grew up in those neighborhoods, they don't want you to have it. And this is what I want people to really get. They don't want Black people to have it. That's why they raise the rents so that you're pushed further out, and then white professionals move into what were these ghettos, and they are now gentrified. And it's happened here in Boston, it's happened in Baltimore, it's happened in DC. DC doesn't look anything like it used to when I was a kid. You go to DC now, the culture is almost completely gone. There's a Starbucks and a juice bar, all these different corners, and the Black families that grew up in that southeast side of DC have been pushed out. That is the thing I really want people to get, the message I want you to get. They do not want Black people to get out of poverty. They don't want Black people to even move into these suburban communities. That's why they have redlining. This goes all the way back to the New Deal. That's why Black families, when white families left the city during white flight and moved to the suburbs, that's why Black families couldn't get into those suburban areas, because they made these laws that were part of the New Deal where Black families could not get those same loans from the bank to get into those communities. And that still happens today. It's just not as pronounced. You have the realtors who are in on it now. It's the realtors who will refuse to show you a house in the white suburban neighborhood, even if you got the credit score and you have the money to buy it. The realtors will let you know, sorry, there's no houses in this area, but you can look right online and see that there's houses there for sale. And you had someone like Cory Booker, his family went through that. So they sent in their white friend. All of a sudden, the house is for sale. It's a problem.
I remember it was a story like that. It was a Black couple. It was a Black couple that was trying to sell their home, and they had their pictures up, and they were trying to give them, like, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of nothing for it, basically. So they took the pictures down. They talked to their white friends. The white friends told them what was up, like, hey, you're being racist. Take your pictures down and put our pictures up. Yeah, they took their pictures down. They put their white friends' pictures up. Now the house is worth a couple of $1 million.
Yep. And you know what?
Nothing changed. They didn't do nothing to the bathroom, the interior, the couches, nothing. Just pictures. And I actually have a story like this because we was planning on moving out of my condo. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna get a nice little chunk of change from selling this and, you know, going here to there. And the realtor trying to push us closer to Detroit. You know, like, no, I moved out of the hood. Like, we need something like around the corner from here. We want this house. Like, I wanted another condo. And she pushing me all the way to a house. Man, this house, the basement wasn't done. You know, it didn't have a tub in a bathtub.
Wow.
I was like, you know what? I had to ask her. I was like, it's because we Black. And we just laughed at it, like, hey, you know, we laughed at it off. But I'm dead ass serious. Why did you show me this house? My house is worth more than this right now. That's crazy.
Wow. You know what? Before I move on, because the next story that is actually directly related to this story about the water, but just to put a pin and nail this down for what Rome and Sabi is saying, I'm going to share this story. And you know what? I actually showed this to my mom, and a lot of you people will probably realize, this. Okay, so this is from my local news station, WFTV, here in Orlando, and its heading says, "Car dealership agrees to $10 million settlement for allegedly charging Black clients more." If you don't think that banks aren't doing this, then I got a bridge over there near Lake Okeechobee to sell you that leads right into the lake. Let me show you. All right, it says an Illinois-based car dealership on Friday agreed to a record $10 million settlement with Federal Trade Commission and the state's Attorney General's office for allegedly adding legal fees and charging Black customers for more financing during purchases. Ed Napleton Automotive, also known as Napleton, headquartered in Oakbrook Terrace, agreed to settle on Friday after a complaint was filed against 9 dealerships in Illinois, Florida, Pennsylvania, Missouri, and the Chicago Tribune reported. And so it talks about how they were basically charging Black people more. It says the complaint also alleged that Black customers were charged approximately $190 more in interest and paid $99 more for similar add-ons than similarly situated non-Latino white customers, the FTC said. Napleton, founded in 1931, has 51 dealerships across 8 states. So if you don't think that banks still aren't doing this, then you're being foolish. And so what I'm basically trying to get at here is I'm basically adding a buttress to what Sabi and Rome are saying, that this still happens. And we're literally in 2022. And so the system is designed to make sure that people like us, and also, and they'll even do it for some of you white folks too. They'll do it to you too. And to make sure that you're paying more. And I have said this many times, it is expensive to be poor. Ain't that the truth? Like, you have, like, for instance, look at what we're talking about right now. We're talking about water. If we can't afford to constantly get the Voss water in a glass bottle, like all the other wealthy people do, or get the Evian water, then guess what? We have to drink straight out of the tap. But then guess what? Then we start to get cancer because we can't afford that water. But now we have to get cancer. And then once we get the cancer, we can't afford the healthcare to treat the cancer. And so then we die. And then our families can't afford to bury us properly because they will basically grab you by the throat and say, okay, you're going to have to pay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 just to bury your loved one. So it's expensive to be poor. If your teeth start rotting because you don't have adequate source of food, healthy food, then guess what? Then you have to just lose your teeth because you can't afford to get dental care. So everything is connected. It's all connected. And people need to realize that. You guys, thoughts before I move on to the connecting story?
Death to America.
Okay. Sabi?
Since you brought up the dental thing, it's really true. That can cause other problems too. Like if you have dental issues, that can cause you to have heart problems.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. So it's just one thing leads to another, So that's why it's important that everybody has universal health care. And that includes dental, by the way. And there are some companies that they offer health care, but they don't even offer like dental insurance. So, yeah, Bryce is right.
Oh yeah, yeah. In fact, I'll tell you guys how important dental health is. If I want to get a kidney transplant, and if somebody wants to donate their kidney to me, they also have to have an oral exam to make sure that their mouth is completely healthy, to make sure there's no infections. Because if not, then that means it leads and it can affect your heart, it can affect your kidneys, it can affect a lot of your internal organs. But they always want to say we got to keep the dental insurance apart from the rest of the body, even though it's inside the body. But yeah, so to the next story, this is actually closely related. So I want you guys to pay very close attention. This is actually a story from Common Dreams that I want to bring up. This came across my purview and I was like, holy shit. So going back to climate change, this article from Common Dreams says dozens arrested as scientists worldwide mobilize to demand climate revolution. Okay, so the subtitle says, if everyone could see what I see coming, society would switch into climate emergency mode and end fossil fuels in just a few years. This is an article by Jake Johnson. Thank you so much for the article. He says more than 1,000 scientists across the globe chained themselves to doors of oil-friendly banks, blocked bridges, and occupied the steps of government buildings on Wednesday to send an urgent message to the international community. The ecological crisis is accelerating, and only a climate revolution will be enough to avert the catastrophe. What organizers describe as the world's largest ever scientist-led civil disobedience campaign kicked off just days after the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, released its latest report, detailing the grim state of efforts to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by century's end, a target set by the Paris Accord. So I'm not going to finish this entire one because I want this person to get credit for this article. But you literally have scientists now demanding a climate revolution. Let's start off with you, Sabby. What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's not surprising to me. Scientists have been trying to warn us about this for years, and I think, and hopefully they address this in the article. I'm not sure, but I think that there needs to be more pressure put on the military industrial complex because that is the single largest polluter in the world. And I want everybody to know that I really think it's great if you recycle. I think it's great if you compost and you're doing those individual little wins that you can do on your own. But what I want you to understand is that even that is not enough. That doesn't put a dent in what is happening with the climate and the environment on Earth. The military industrial complex creates the most pollution, the single largest polluter. Every time they have drone strikes, every time they go to battle, they are the problem. And so I think if you are a climate activist and you're an environmentalist, I think we need to be putting pressure on some of these companies like Raytheon. I think you need to put pressure on Lockheed Martin. I think that we should be protesting outside those companies because they are complicit in this and really wake people up. And I don't want to disappoint people, but I did have to say that about the recycling. That is very small compared to the pollution that is
bullshit,
caused by the
Sabby.
MIC.
Let's stop being. You so nice, Sabby. You so nice. You so nice. Recycling does nothing but go to the same island that our trash go to. Yes, it makes you feel better, just like voting for Bernie. But guess what? It's all the same trash. You know, they don't have. Come on, man. They don't have nothing in play like that.
They busted. This was a couple years ago. They busted Boston trashmen. They were on the local news because someone recorded them throwing in the recycling trash with the regular trash.
Yeah.
But they get that from their heads up. That's what they do at the end of the day anyway. You know, they just don't want you guys to know this because they want you guys to go and settle for plastic straws so they can go out and, you know, once you've making yourself feel good from sucking down your Starbucks with your plastic straw, they destroying the fucking earth. They're giving off acres of the ocean to oil tycoons. So yes, you are stopping little plastics from going into the ocean, but you stop shit for real. That shit ain't put a dent in what really needs to be done. You know what I'm talking about? And not only is the military one of the biggest polluters, it's Coca-Cola also. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our day-to-day lives going to have to change. Yeah. We're going to have to stop consuming from these people if we really want change. We're going to have to really protest, not only with our bodies and our minds, but with our pockets, you know what I'm saying, with the little change that we have left. And let these people know, like, either, you know what I'm saying, y'all get a grip on this, or we're going to nationalize you guys and get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also airplanes. And I know this is going to be a touchy one for some people, but airplanes also create a lot of pollution. And this is why, and the United States is way behind on this. Europe has always been ahead of us when it comes to transportation. They have high-speed rail. We don't. How do we still not have high-speed rail in this country?
Yep.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel so bad, man. I don't know. It's like these people, man. I feel them because they calling for their revolution, just like I'm calling for the revolution I have in my mind, because I see that the world is fucked up and we can't come back from this. Imagine what they know. And they have, like Sabi said, they have been saying this for generations now. And after so long, you're telling people, you know what I'm saying? Then you're shouting at people. Then it goes from you shouting to start to go radical, right? Because you feel like nobody is listening because we are still doing the same. Actually, we are ramping up, you know what I'm saying, fossil fuel, and we are selling weapons. We are giving off land to these fucking oil tycoons every fucking week, it seems now. And to be a climate scientist, I probably would go mad. I probably would turn into an evil scientist type shit, like, you know. But yeah, it's only so long that a motherfucker will yell at you until he started to take into his own hands. So I congratulate everybody who, you know what I'm saying, stood up and went to jail for what they believe in. Because jail is easy compared to what we're about to go through with this climate change, especially on the coast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure I showed that story because, you know, we literally have scientists that are literally putting their freedom on the line because they're saying if we don't stop this, we're all going to die. I don't know how to say it. I can't sugarcoat it. Maybe that's the influence that Rome has on me. I can't sugarcoat anything. You know, and so you know, like for instance, Rome, you got the train here. It took you what, 3 hours to get from Jacksonville here?
If this is China, I would have been here in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, you would have been here, you know, maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah,
you know, maybe an hour.
You could have did everything the same day.
Yep, everything the same day. You know,
and see, we're talking about, since we're on high speed railroads, we have to mention, because I'm from Detroit, and I've seen the laws that they put against. I mean, the money that they put against high speed railroads. GM, Chrysler, Ford, you know, the politicians, the lobbyists, they all sell out. They all sell us out. They even put money against little Charlies. They don't want people even having that type of mind frame, that type of shit in their mind, talking about better transportation. They want you to consume. They want you to buy their cars. They don't care how many fatalities happen on the road. They don't care that there's older people on the road that stroke out, they have heart attacks, that die on the road. They don't care. They want their money. We want our lives. So yes, we need not only with the high-speed railroad save us lives, it will save us money on infrastructure. You won't have to put too much. You don't have to build 6 fucking lanes on your fucking highway. You know,
you don't need auto insurance. You won't need auto insurance. You won't have to pay for gas. Like, imagine all the money that you spend in auto insurance and maintenance and gas and in monthly payments to your car. Imagine how much money that would be back in your pocket. In fact, let's go this route. High-speed rail is actually the more conservative thing to do. Not conservative. It's the fiscally responsible thing to do. So conservatives who are watching, if you are really truly conservative and you're all about fiscal responsibility and putting money back into people's pockets, high-speed rail. Make sure we do it all over the country.
That would create, it would create so many jobs across the country. Don't you guys? I thought you guys loved the jobs, right? Yeah. This would create so many jobs. It's going to pay you guys over $15 an hour. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to unionize and some shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Because you got actual workers. Like, come on now. Mm-hmm. We can really get America moving and great again, right? Mm-hmm. All right, then.
I just wanted to say that. Shoot balls. I messed something up. Okay. I accidentally exited the. Okay. I just wanted to say, in reference to the transportation, I don't know if everyone noticed this, but during the Super Bowl, did you notice there were a lot of car manufacturer ads about electric vehicles? So more car companies now have created electric vehicles. Yeah. That's not just because they want to be hip and cool. That's because there's a lot of pressure pushed on them now from the younger generations because they're smart. They realize a lot of the Gen Z like generation that's coming through, a lot of them are choosing not to purchase cars because they know it's bad for the environment. And if they can't afford a Tesla, like Tesla is not cheap. And that is the best electric vehicle right now that we have in the United States. So they've been choosing not to buy a car. And instead, what they've been purchasing, I don't know if you guys have seen this like in the cities, but they have those little, what are they called? They're kind of like scooters, but they're not called scooters. They've been purchasing things like that, these little the hubway things and stuff like that. Bikes are bigger now. They've even created bike lanes here. So the car dealerships are noticing, hey, we may have a problem with the younger generation and they may cause us to lose money because they're not out here purchasing cars. Also, too, it's a money issue, right? A lot of them just don't have the money to go buy a car. So now that's why you start to see more car dealerships like Toyota and all of them are now starting to create electric vehicles as well. But again, there had to be that pressure. And this is what I want people to really get when it comes to consumerism. Black Americans, we are the largest consumers in this country. Do not feel bad for holding back your consumerism from a certain company. Stop buying sneakers from Nike. Stop buying from Apple. Stop buying from all of these businesses that basically only pretend to care about Black issues when they can make money off of it. That's Cadillac. That's Nike. That's a lot of them, actually. And what they'll do is they'll get a Black celebrity to endorse it for them or to do the commercial for them. So you think, oh, Nike stands with Black Lives Matter. All right, Cadillac stands with Black people. They don't. They're just trying to make money. So if you withhold your money from those companies, what would happen, right? They would eventually fall. This is how you get your demands met.
Yep, because guess what? A company only endorses the movement of the day because they make money off of it. Anybody want to talk to BMW about when the Nazis were in power?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to talk to, Mercedes-Benz? Because they were also for the Nazis. Mm-hmm. Because that was what was popular at that time in that country. What makes you think that they won't switch gears on you here in the United States? Because it's all about money, 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 money.
You're just trying to sell, and Black people sure know how to sell some shit. I see a
Mhm.
commercial and almost fall for the bullshit. That's why I unplug. Like, oh,
Yeah.
And someone mentioned in the chat, why are we the biggest consumers though? Because they've used celebrities to basically promote a lot of these products to us. The hip hop industry, the music industry is notorious for it. A lot of us grew up during like the 90s. Me and JB talked about this before.
Yeah.
How many times did we see music videos where they were telling you you need to get money, you need to get paid?
Get
It was
the
just this is
security
what we
bag.
grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And remember those commercials when you're watching BET Awards brought to you by McDonald's.
Yep.
Like literally, like you cannot go on BET and not see some capitalist, rapacious BS that they're trying to hawk different type of products at you. And then on top of it, let's be real. Even some of the things that are classically known by us, Black people, they'll use Black products, like hair products, when it's actually owned by companies, by white companies.
Yes. I'm sorry, but I have
Let's
to
be
say
real.
it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know y'all like that pink, this pink lotion. I know y'all like that type of stuff, but guess what? They're owned by companies that just want to make money off you. BET is owned by Viacom, which also owns MTV and VH1. Guess what? They don't all that. So it's not really about you. It's about money. Let's be real. Let's talk about it. Savvy?
Yeah, also since you brought up hair care, I also want to add that Shea Moisture is also not owned by Black people. And they promote, they do a lot of like they say they're Black hair care they are not owned by Black people. A lot of people just don't know.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for people to know that. I'm glad you brought up BET too, because someone tried to tell me one day, how can you say that BET is owned by Black Eye? And I'm like, no, it's not.
The Boondocks exposed that. Y'all remember that Boondocks episode when they was an evil corporation and they was trying to market things to Black people to make us kill each other and kill ourselves? Yeah.
Yep.
That's very real. And actually, it was a study that just came out. I should have looked that up. It was a study that just came out about BET that they actually are an evil corporation that push things on Black people to try to get them to kill themselves. This is documented.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, every single BET Awards, they tread out Deborah Lee. They're like, hey, here's the president of BET, a Black woman, Deborah Lee, but who owns the joint?
Right.
They never want to talk about it. But yeah, I just wanted to, also, I don't want to get too far off, but you guys were talking about Gen Z and drivers. This is actually from USA Today. It talks about the number of, damn it. Oops.
Don't you hate that?
I hate it when I do that. Okay. Says the number of 16-year-olds with licenses decreased from 46% to 25% in the same period. Damn. It says that trend began with millennials and has been amplified by Gen Z, with teens citing myriad of reasons for putting off avoid getting a driver's license. So just let y'all know, kids are like, bump that. I'm just gonna take the bus. I'm just gonna take my bike. Yep. We're not driving anymore. And so it's crazy. Go ahead, Sadie.
I was going to say, especially where I live, like most people don't own a car. Like most people like in the Boston area don't own a car. And I mean, I kind of get it. Like they'll take like public transportation. They'll take the bus or the train, or also a lot of my students are like, they can't afford a car.
Yeah.
So
even if you can afford to buy, you can't afford to take care of it. Then the insurance and then
Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, going back to the whole climate change thing, is we're getting to a point where we're saying no, and we're starting to see companies sweat. So now they're like, okay, you guys don't want gas? Okay, we're going to give you electric. I want us to go, you know what? I don't even want electric cars anymore, because it's still manufacturing and contributing to climate change. I mean, we're literally going to, have to get all this lithium Which means that we're going to have to commit atrocities in other countries to get the lithium from them for a cheap price or for nothing at all. So, like, no, like, give us what China got. Give us the China deal. Give us high-speed rail. And then you'll see ridership on there go up. But no, we're not doing all that. No.
And the money in that shit, man. After a while, you can't. There's not a lot of money in actually taking care of people and making sure that they like.
Yeah.
Happiness doesn't equal money.
Yeah. So, is there any more last thoughts before we move on to our next story?
Well, I was just gonna say something about the money too.
Okay.
JB, Sunday you had on a Florida Evans shirt, and so you made me think about Good Times, and I was talking about this a couple nights ago. we were talking about poverty, and I was telling people, like, if you notice, you haven't seen a show like Good Times since Good Times was on TV, and I honestly believe because there's no money in that. There's no money in showing people a window to what it's like to be Black and poor, living in the inner city in the United States. There's no money in that. That's why a lot of these reality shows are about rich people. I want to see.
They're all rich.
Yeah, I want to see a reality show about someone, instead of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I want to see a reality show called Keeping Up with the Rent. And I want to see people, seriously, what it's like living in this country, struggling, living on minimum wage, just trying to pay the rent. But again, there's no money in that. That's why they don't. Nah.
Yep. And look, they saw how much we related to Good Times. So they were like, okay, we got to stop that shit. So they took two Black boys, put them inside a really nice home, and they called it, Different Strokes. Yep. Then they were like, you know what? We got to make Black people more capitalistic. Let's have a famous comedian and then make him a doctor, an OBGYN, and make his wife a lawyer, and then give it to Bill Cosby. We got the Cosby Show. Then they were like, you know what? That's not enough. We need Black people to think more capitalistic. Okay, let's get a famous rapper that does clean rap and then make him go from the hood to a rich house, and let's call it the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Bro, you missed the first one. You missed one, bro.
What did I miss?
Well, we're moving on up.
To
the east side.
The Jeffersons. That was part of it.
We finally got a piece of the pie.
Fish don't fry in the kitchen.
But JB, don't forget also that trend in the 80s where a white family adopted a Black child.
Yeah, that's Different Strokes.
Yeah, Different Strokes.
Yeah. Different Strokes. Because the thing is, with Sanford and Son and with Good Times, they were like, no, we can't do that. Yep. Right? And
Family Matters, they tried. That was propaganda.
That was propaganda. And now look at Blackish. You know that man was rich.
Yep.
You know he was rich. Anthony Anderson, and a lot of times they'll go, well, we don't want to play somebody poor because Black people are always portrayed as poor, but we are poor. No shit, Sherlock. Look, come on, man. We are.
But even with Sanford and Son, what's his face? Red Fox owned his house.
Yeah, he
remember he talked about he owned his house. Yeah, he sold antique goods or whatever, but he owned his own house. But like with Good Times, like they constantly talked about like the struggle. And like James got laid off multiple times. Remember that? Every time he turned around, he got laid off.
There was
an episode where there was a neighbor of theirs that she couldn't get like food from the grocery store. She was poor to the point where she couldn't buy food. So like she was eating like her cat food. Like it really talked about like a lot of issues that I think was somewhat controversial for that time. If you go back and look at it, but you don't see anything like that now.
Especially that White Jesus one. That's when I was like, oh yeah, they trying to push some on us because Florida was not having it. She was like, no, Jesus is white. Nah. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, by the way, speaking of Florida Evans, I hate the fact that I forgot her actual name. but she was in a movie called Rosewood. If you guys, it's very depressing, and it does have a trigger warning before you watch that. It's very depressing, but it's a movie based on Jim Crow here in Florida. So just letting y'all know. But I recommend, if you guys want to see a movie about Jim Crow. But yeah, so they constantly try to push that on us, from the movies, even Real Housewives of Atlanta, Black and Rich. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Everybody's talking about Nene Leakes and oh my God, she's a queen and blah blah blah. And I'm like, is she really?
Yeah.
The queen of who? I don't even know these people until they come on my fucking Twitter. Like, man, I've been so unplugged, and people be like, "Well, like, man, y'all be so caught up in these celebrities, they don't even know your name."
Yep.
You gonna fuck around and turn into Stan? And like, this will be the last time I ever. They be like, who the fuck is you? No, you can't take a picture. I bought all your books and I read everything and I watched every episode, bitch. So,
Esther Roll, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They realize what sells and what doesn't, because even like MTV's The Real World, if you watch like the very first season of The Real World, they had real people. They had people who, like, one of them was like a writer, one of them was like an aspiring like rapper, like I think only one of them was a college student, but they had like working class people, with the exception of Eric, join that cast. As time went on, they changed that and they only were casting college students. And that's not the real world, because in the real world, not everyone goes to college. They really changed. It just, I want to see something real, you know?
Yeah, I want to see something real. So there's a lot to talk about. I think we should do a millennial show. I think that's going to exclude you, Ron, because I think you Gen Z.
What? I think I'm 30.
I'm never gonna let that go. You're gonna be a Gen Z in my eyes for life.
Oh, no, I ain't that young. You're back telling me I'm years older.
All right, so we're going to talk about the story. This is basically my top story for this stream. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody in the house tonight. All right. If I can get my hands on it, hang on. I got all these tabs open. JB, why you got all these tabs open, brother? Mm-hmm. Good Lord, stop it. Okay. Okay, yeah. All right, so make sure. Okay. Oh yeah, and Xavier Rockfin said my wife and kids was a decent representation of middle class family for TV. I still say they were rich, because if you look at that house, maybe I'm just that poor, but to me they were rich. Mm-hmm. Even Martin had money.
Martin lived in Detroit.
Yeah, but he still, like, that apartment and the clothes he had some change.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Gina was like a marketing executive, so yeah.
Yeah, she was a marketing exec.
Like that apartment is closer to downtown. Back in the days, that was like a real good part. You couldn't get in unless you was on the radio or somebody important. Like
yeah.
You was in those apartment buildings. Like the apartment buildings that they show, of course, it was different. You know what I'm saying? They showing the apartments that people was living in, but back then you couldn't even get downtown. Like black people was downtown, but certain buildings, that's when we really saw gentrification. But it came from black capitalists before anything. You know what I'm saying? Because they opened the door for the hipsters to come through. You know, and they just started buying up the fucking hood, or selling what properties they had to the highest bidder.
Yep. Especially when they started showing ones like living single and whatever. But the next story, this is out of Reuters, and it talks about how Ketanji Brown Jackson was confirmed by the Senate in a 53-47 vote. And so she is officially the first black woman on the Supreme Court.
Who gives a fuck?
Rome. You're jumping over me right quick.
Fuck her. What What the fuck? You don't give a fuck. What you gonna do? You gonna send some more black niggas to prison? Oh wow, we got another Kamala Harris. So what they fucking do? You don't give a fuck.
I was going to defer to the black woman on the panel right quick first. Rome.
I'm sorry, but shit. I wasn't even paying attention to this story. I didn't even notice. That's crazy, but still, like, the fuck?
Sabby, your thoughts. Go ahead.
Oh man. Yeah. Of course, a lot of people are gonna be, celebrating this and cheering this on and everything. And this is not to shade Ketanji Brown or anything like that, but I've spoken my piece about Ketanji Brown. I told you again, she represented the corporations, not the people. And I stand firm on that based on the information that I've read about her. But I will say this, a lot of people right now are talking about she's the first Black woman on the Supreme Court. This is a huge day in American history. And not enough people are talking about the fact that Amir Locke's murderers in Minneapolis had the charges dropped. And I really feel like that is more important than this. Because once again, we have the same mayor in Minneapolis, the same police department. Derek Chauvin was convicted. They took him away, and the police department in Minneapolis is still corrupt. They are still killing Black people in Minneapolis, and they are still getting away with it. And I really wish that more people were talking about that and focusing on that instead of this virtue signaling BS that we have here. It really, really pisses me off. I talked about it last night. I see too many people cover that story.
Yeah.
And for people who live in that area, I don't know anyone that lives like in that area, but for people who live in that area in Minneapolis, I want to encourage you to call on the mayor of Minneapolis to step the fuck down. Because it's been too many of these incidents that have happened in Minneapolis under his watch. And every time he gives the same damn speech on television, the mayor of the city has the ability to make changes in the police department. The whole department is corrupt. So another Black kid lost his life.
Yeah.
And no one's going to pay the price for it.
You know what, Sabby? You're right. I'm just going to say this one thing about Ketanji Brown Jackson. Remember Obama, and that's all I'm going to say. Okay, fuck this story. We're moving to Amir Locke. Let's go. No, I'm serious. I'm serious because here's the thing. This is actually more important. And Sabby's right. And I stand corrected. So let's go there. Because you know what? People, are not paying attention.
And okay, so I just want to say, man, like, these are nothing but feel-good stories. But, bro, we are living under corporate fascism.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck who's on what? This whole government needs to be burnt the fuck down. Whether they are black, white, purple, yellow, I don't give a fuck. I don't care who you put in power. This government needs to go, and we need to recreate. We need to recreate this in our image. You know what I'm saying? What's better for future generations? Fuck any of them. Because they're not going to stand the test of time once we have our revolution. Is she still going to be in power after we have our revolution? No, I don't give a fuck.
All right. So this is actually from Fox 9. It says Amir Locke's mother disgusted after prosecutors decided not to charge officer. It continues. It says the mother of Amir Locke says she is disgusted with Minneapolis after prosecutors announced their decision not to charge the officer. Fuck the prosecutors. Who shot and killed 22-year-old son during a no-knock raid in February. Karen Wells was joined by, Al Sharpton and Ben Crump on Wednesday afternoon in New York to address the prosecutor's decision not to charge Mark Hanneman, the Minneapolis police officer who shot and killed the armed 22-year-old. He was not armed, okay? He had his gun on the table. Okay, let's get it straight. He had his gun on the table. He was literally asleep. Y'all had a key, unlocked the door. You guys didn't knock on the door. Like, man, Fuck Fox 9. So this is what really happened. He was asleep at a friend's house on the couch. All right. He had his gun on the table right next to him. They took a key, unlocked the door quietly, because I saw the video. They went in and they said something. This man is dead asleep. And as soon as he woke up, thinking it's an intruder, what do you do when an intruder comes in your house? You grab the gun to protect yourself. And guess what? They saw him grab the gun, even though they didn't notify him and he wasn't cognizant of what was going on, and they shot him dead.
This is why we have things like, patrol cars, so we can know when they are police officers, right? So what will happen if an unmarked vehicle just flashing lights behind you guys? You're going to call the police. You're going to call your lawyer, right? You're not just going to stop for anybody. That can be anybody. This world is fucking crazy, and people will rob, kill, and kidnap. We've seen it. Look how rapid it is with the sex trafficking. All right, then. So people just opening the door. That could have been his boys coming back to rob him because they saw that he got some money. He don't know. He just waking up. Hold on. Obviously, something is going on. Obviously, he got his gun next to him. All right, then. Just like I do. But at the same time, if you came, open my door, and then say who you was, my instinct is to jump up, shoot first, ask questions last. I am protecting my home, my children. You could have been anybody. That was, yes, like everybody is saying in the comments, that was murder. We know it. But then what? It's murder. Now what? They murdered another person. Now what? What the fuck we gonna do? Is we gonna go out there and do eye for eye? Or we're going to sit here and complain about it? Or we're going to fucking celebrate the fucking Supreme Court that just let these people off?
And I want to add, too, that, yes, he had a gun that it was legal, by the way. He had a permit to carry. And even if he didn't have a gun, they still would have killed him if he reached for something else. Yeah. We've seen this happen where someone is reaching for their phone. He could have been reaching for the remote control. And the next thing you know, the police officer is like, oh, I thought it was a gun. So it doesn't matter if he had a gun or not. The fact is the no-knock warrant thing needs to go. And last night I sat up there and I listened to the officers, speakers from the police department explain that, well, the law under Minnesota law, this is the reason why we cannot charge them. Well, then I have a problem with the law. Change the law. Get rid of the law. You have the power to do those things. To hear them actually say during the press conference the other day, they were actually saying we have to start holding law enforcement accountable. So they were saying the quiet part out loud that they weren't doing that before. They were letting them get away with it. And I can't believe that the same judge that presided over the George Floyd, the same judge was the one who issued the no-knock warrant. And so this is why I tell people it's not about removing individual police officers. The system is the problem. You see, they took Derek Chauvin away. The police department is still corrupt. They're still killing Black people in Minneapolis, and they're getting away with it. And I think people should be really frustrated about this and should be focusing more so on this instead of the fact that we need to celebrate because a Black woman just became a Supreme Court justice. What difference does that make for Black communities when you still have police officers that are still killing Black people?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. This is also a part of Amy Klobuchar. She's just as much at fault with this as well. She is the governor of Minnesota. Yeah, she takes under U.S. senators. She's number 2 for taking money from police unions. She is number 2. And by the way, there's more Democrats on that list than Republicans. You might be surprised to see that. Look at Open Secrets. So she's heavily funded by police unions. She was the one who let Derek Chauvin go in 2006 when he had another act of police brutality. Had she done her damn job, George Floyd might still be alive today. Then you got to look at people like Joe Biden, who said he's funding the police more. All of those people are connected. So this is not just about an officer walked in. This is about the system and the laws that are in place that are designed to keep these police officers doing what they do and getting away with it. And that's why I say you cannot reform this. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about not only the laws that are on the books, these unjust laws, unethical, immoral laws that are also on the books. Let's also talk about the prosecutors. Let's talk about the district attorneys. Let's talk about them. Because you know what? They're in bed with the police unions. And people who always want to talk about holding police accountable, I want to hold the DAs accountable, the attorney generals, the district attorneys, hold them accountable too.
Yeah.
Also, while we're at it, the funding that goes towards a lot of the public defenders is shit. These public defenders, a lot of them, some of them are really good people. But guess what? A lot of them, they have their caseload is so massive that they can't even do the cases the right way for the people who may be innocent. And so now you got people, you know, largely a lot of black people that end up having to take these plea deals and things like that for crimes that they didn't commit, or overly harsh sentences for crimes that really a white person would get a slap on the wrist for. And so we're seeing this in real time. And you know what? Savvy's right. Look, the hell with Ketanji Brown Jackson. Who cares? The system is still going on the same way it's done before. Nothing changed systemically since, what's his name? Clarence Thomas became Supreme Court Justice. Nothing systemically changed when we got Barack Obama. Nothing systemically changed when we got Kamala Harris. Everybody's like, oh, you got a black face. So what? What have things have changed really for us?
Black faces in other places is there to distract you, man. It's there to distract you from the revolution and what really needs to go on. Because if we was to sit here and, you know, talk about how corrupt the Supreme Court is and how we do need more black people and poor people in the Supreme Court, then okay, you're right. You're right. Now let's go back. Why was the Supreme Court funded? Supreme Court shouldn't even be here in the first fucking place. They shouldn't even have that much power in the first place, right? All right then. So fuck your Supreme Court. My nigga dead. My nigga's dying all over America. And everybody just cheering. Everybody just happy. Yes, we got this. Oh, we got Joe Biden. Oh, we got a black person. And we got this. And you got nothing. You got performative bullshit that's not going to change your life. And you happy with it. You niggas like pigs and shit. And you disgust me. You disgust me when I see you guys cheering for this bullshit, knowing that we still have people on the ground, sleeping on the ground, outside, abandoned houses, sleeping in cold states, homeless. Oh, but yes, we got a black face in a high place. Oh, so fucking grand. Suck my dick. Yeah. Who cares, bro? Look, it's so much that needs to happen. So much that needs to happen. And we're not going to get there being distracted by every feel-good story.
Yeah. In fact, Rome, you were with me, right? When we were at the corner of Gore and OBT doing Tour for the Poor, and my mother decided to drop us off in front of a Wendy's. What did we see? We saw a father with his 4 kids, and his wife came out, and he had no place to go. Their youngest was a toddler, sweating in the heat in a stroller because they had no place to go. And even then, the Christian Service Center didn't do anything for them. So you want to tell me how things have really changed? Tell that father, tell that mom with their 4 kids, oh, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris. They don't give a shit.
They're gonna be like, who?
No.
They're gonna be like, where do I put my kids to sleep at night? How am I supposed to get them?
Ask Mitch Brown for a room. I'm pretty sure she got a big ass house.
What does Ketanji Brown's appointment do for your community?
And you know what's funny, Sabby? from that question, a lot of liberals would be like, but she's going to see, you have representation. And it's like, hang on. We've had a black man for almost 30 years in the Supreme Court. What representation?
Right? And you only there because you know somebody that knows somebody. And that somebody know that you are willing to sell your own people out. You would not be in that. You would not even be lined up to get that type of position of power.
And Rome, can I add to your point? The fact that Joe Biden chose her, that says a lot about her than it says a lot about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Because that means that he looked for somebody with his values. That means that she also probably believes in funding the police more. She probably believes in corporations having power. So what representation do we see here? Right?
Yep.
Okay, so what? Yeah, she went to Harvard Law School. So what? Who cares? So did Obama.
That's what make the white people feel good. Oh, she's an educated black. She's not like the other blacks. She's an educated
I think we
black.
need to. I honestly, I think we haven't been doing too well with Harvard Law School. Obama, perfect example. I'm sorry, but I know what Harvard Law School's like. I think we need to start looking people other way in other places. I'm sorry, but
say that for the people in the back, Savvy.
Yeah, those are not they're not really out to help. I'm sorry, but how many senators and congressmen came from Harvard Law School? Those people aren't trying to help the people. They're there to help the corporations. They're there to protect wealth.
They're trying to help people.
They're all friends. They grew up in the same schools, and their fathers grew up in that school. They got an alumni amongst each other.
Social club. They're social clubs. Like, that's how it works. It's all about the networks. That's what Harvard's all about.
Yep.
A lot of people think Harvard's about like, it's like a lot of people think that, and I can tell you, I've had friends that have gone there. Harvard's really difficult to get into, but I've had friends that told me that once you got in there, it wasn't that much different from other colleges, right? So a lot of times what it's really about is networking. The relationships that you make with people while you're at Harvard, those are the relationships that really guide your professional career. And a lot of people don't realize that until they get there. So when it's time to go on those expensive student trips abroad, and that a lot of the poor kids aren't going to have money to do, they can still graduate from Harvard and have that Harvard diploma, but they may not get the same kind of job opportunities that the social networking Harvard kids got. That's what it's really, that's what you're paying for when you go to Harvard. You're paying for a network.
The connections.
And like, if your parents got that money, man, you can get anywhere. Like, we seen this with the woman from Full House when she paid her daughter way through college, and they was buying stuff from for the gym, buying stuff for the road team. I think they call it the road team or whatnot. Yeah, money will get you. And in a lot of places, you don't have to be educated. You just need to know somebody that knows somebody. You don't have to. And once you get that Harvard degree, you can go here and there because they are all family. You know what I'm saying? They all click up and they all got that alumni amongst each other to where it's like a brotherhood, I should say. And you damn near got a guaranteed job no matter where you go, whether that be banking or Hollywood.
Yeah. So that's the story. And I know, Savvy, we're gonna cut it off here because I'm hungry. I got chicken in the oven.
I'm hungry too.
Yeah, so we're gonna get on. But I just wanted to say, as the last thing, I want to end on a positive note. Rome, my mom called you a name. My mama said you are a tornado. Because you got so much energy. Look, we black, fat, and happy up in this house, all right? We do not have that much energy to be spending like you do with your skinny ass. You just like, okay, we gotta do this. And that's what happened. And now I'm jealous. I'm jealous, bro.
I only had one day, man. I only had one day.
Because I
to
want
do
that energy, man.
No, you don't.
Sabby, you better get yourself some good running shoes when he get up there to you.
Oh,
I don't know anybody that can smoke as much weed and still have that much energy. What? I'm like, look, this is gonna be you looking at Rome.
It's probably ADHD.
You're gonna have a great time, and I'm so excited. So look, y'all, make sure to donate to Tour for the Poor so that when he gets up there to see Sabby, everything is kosher and everything is copacetic. All right.
I got to work on getting a big enough van to move all the stuff in, because I'm still gonna we're gonna be buying tents and whatnot. So we're gonna go to saying hot spots around the city where they did some sweeps at, and just hand out some tents to some people, whatever they had. We can't give them everything that they lost, but we could put something over their head for right now until hopefully they don't do another sweep for a couple of years or something.
Yeah.
And if so, we'll be right back. We'll be right back. And I was planning on doing this in New York again, but fucking New York, man. It's like I gotta work on something. And I got 3 other states to do before I even head back to New York. But I might do a fundraiser just for New York. And I got some people there. I got Josana there, Sharif. I got a handful of activists out there that's willing to do it for me. So I might just raise some money for New York separately and just let them do Tour for the Poor. We're going to be handing out tents all over America. We're going to combat the sweeps that's happening across America or whatnot. Even if this is illegal and you will face jail time, not that much, probably like I want to say like a weekend. You're going to talk to your judge, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to give you a bail. More than likely, you're going to get a bail. And they're gonna wave their finger at you, but it's all for the greater good. I do, 3 to 7. I do a month in jail for the people because they spending their life out in the fucking cold. So it is what it is. The sacrifices come with the game, and sometimes it ain't always gonna be good. Sometimes the police ain't gonna always be cool. We was actually lucky that the police didn't do anything to us because they was deep across the street. There was a whole bunch of them. And they was looking at us like, but we had a good crowd of people to where it would have made some type of protest around that time. So, but sometimes you don't get that lucky. I always prepare myself for the worst. You know what I'm saying? And just gonna do the best that we can.
FYI, it's legal in Boston.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's good. All right. If I ain't trying to go to jail out there, they're gonna be.
So, Sabs, what you got coming up tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I'll be back here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to give you guys an update about that student union. That's not one of the stories, but just a quick update about the grad students at MIT. I told you Friday they were trying to start a union. They were trying to unionize. Well, they did win. I found out early this morning, so hopefully this will spread to other colleges as well. So this is a really big deal that they won at MIT. That's going to put pressure on some of the other colleges in the area. And then also tomorrow night, I'll be on my channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Indie Left is going to hop on for a minute. And then at 9 p.m., the call-in portion of the show will start. So, yeah.
All right, cool. Rome, you got anything coming up before you go see Sabby?
I think I was doing something in Detroit. I'm not sure. Oh, my fucking garden. No, I ain't doing shit. Y'all can catch me on my shows from here to there when I get time. Y'all know I'm not gonna schedule it. I don't have any days. I just click and go live. I'm not gonna send out too many notifications. When you catch me, you catch me. It is what it is. Other than that, I'm just getting ready to hit Boston, and I'm actually about to start fundraising for Kansas tomorrow. So me and Nick will be together right after I'm done. Right after me and Sabby is done, me and Nick is going to be doing a big enough barbecue for the neighborhood. We're going to be doing speeches. introducing people to socialism, communism, and all that good stuff. But it's probably gonna take me a minute. I'll probably need to get down to Kansas for about a week just to rally up people, make flyers, and get them ready to get them come to this park, because it's a common park out there that everybody go through the barbecue. So we can get some popping. That's gonna be in July, I believe. So April, May, June. Oh no, I'm headed to Delaware. I'm headed to Delaware after Sabby, and then it's Nick. I'm sorry. Yeah. So catch me if you can, motherfucker. I'm gingerbread now.
Catch you on the flip side.
All right. So this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be live with Marcus Cage, and we'll be talking about different news stories as well as any subjects that he is interested in. He is pretty good on history and adding historical context to what is going on. So I can't wait to actually have a good conversation with him. Be sure to catch me there. And also on the JB show, the JB Font show. Catch that it's Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys will be able to catch me there. But as far as the subject, I'll cover the news, and I may have a guest. So just stay tuned. Anyway, I just want to
hang.
No, Rome, nope. We're ending the stream. We're not going to go there. All right. I got to make a tape.
No, I'm playing. I'll be back out to California, not Los Angeles. I'll be back out to California, San Antonio, I believe.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them. It's all the same. It's Mexico, bitch. I'm coming to Mexico. Whatever. I'll see y'all.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Water your plants. Water yourselves. And forehead kisses. Mwah. Smoke them if you got them. Bye.